Looked like a great big bathroom, I guess, because they had these shower things at the top, and we were put onto benches. We were all stark naked, old and young. Of course, the sexes were separated, but we all had to sit in a row. And what happened eventually is that they rained from the shower heads. They rained soap and water on us, and the reason for that was that we had to be deloused. We were so full of lice through that. Our hair was cut, and they rained soap and water on us. And I do not remember if there were any towels. So when I hear about the shower heads and the Holocaust and all of that, I know exactly what it was. That was soap and water raining down on us to delouse us. That's what it was. And where the story came from, that those were dangerous shower heads, I don't know. That must have come out of the Russian propaganda.
So it's like Steven Spielberg, that everybody in Schindler's List is waiting for the gas to come in, and
all it
lo and behold, all it was
soap and water came raining down on us in this great big, we call it banya, which is a Russian word for a washroom. Bathroom, yeah, but it was a big one, a communal bathroom. It was huge, I would say. It was, the way I remember it, of course I was little, but the way I remember it, I would say it was at least 30 by 30. It must have been built for that purpose, to wash us down like dogs. The same for the cutting of hair. I mean, we were all shorn bald in order to stop the lice, the louse problem that we had. Everybody had lice in the war, you know. I mean, this was just common knowledge that everybody had lice, and then of course we had to be deloused and put into Germany.
So Jews cannot claim unique victim status?
No, they cannot. And when I hear the stories about them losing their hair, big deal. None of us had hair. Yeah. So that was my take on it.
And how about the cattle cars?
Well, the cattle cars was pretty much the same story, because we considered ourselves lucky if we could ride in a cattle car, of course, because then we did not depend on horses. We did not have to walk on foot. Man, that was luxury, to ride a cattle car. And yes, they were crammed full of people, and yes, it was very difficult, you know, to travel like that. Often you could not sit, you had to stand because they were crammed full. Often there was not water, there was no food. This is how it was in those years. People were hanging on those cattle cars. When you see those pictures, that could have been us. We were like that in those years. That means nothing. The same when you see the bunk beds. My goodness, we were lucky if we had bunk beds where we could sleep at night. It meant we did not have to sleep outside in the snow. And frankly, we never really heard much about the persecution of the Jews. We knew that there were executions happening in Russia, but in Germany proper, I do not remember a single time that I heard any of these stories ever, or later on in South America for that matter. I have to struggle to find memories of even the slightest anti-Semitism. And it was one of my happiest times there, because they were so kind to us and so good to us and played with us and gave us toys and, you know, fussed over us. And never ever in all those times was any one of these young soldiers improper with us. Never. It's of the war that is